It is good to see you again, Aloy. I see you have recovered Demeter.
Okay, data module's in.
I like this one. With the acquisition of Ether, Poseidon, and Demeter, my heuristic processing density has expanded greatly. I should now be able to absorb Hephaestus, and fortunately, we have made progress on a plan to capture it. With Varl's encouragement, Beta analyzed all available information on Hephaestus. Its expansion has been rampant. It is too large to be beamcast, and the kernel you have been using could never hold it. Therefore, it must be contained in a location with a direct physical connection to me. A place with 2 data cores.
2 cores. Where would we find a place like that?
Gemini.
An abandoned cauldron in the desert west of here. Seismic activity disrupted the original construction. 2 data cores were built as a result.
I know that place. It's near the Desert Clan's capital. We'll have to bring you there by hand.
I have devised a blueprint for a suitable, albeit unwieldy, transport rig. It will require 2 people to carry it to Gemini.
I can help.
Once I am installed on the first core, I will call down Hephaestus on the other, trapping it. I will then initiate the merge. However, in order to construct the rig, I will need considerable help.
Can you build it? I suppose I could, but it's not gonna work. The Zeniths will find you. Minerva won't be able to conceal your location.
That is correct. Absorbing Hephaestus will create a significant power surge, easily detected by anyone capable of noticing.
But what if there were multiple power surges? To fake out the Zeniths? If Erend, Zoe, and Katalo spread out to the other cauldrons and create their own surges, would those conceal the one at Gemini?
Analyzing. Such a tactic might be effective. With Beta's help, we should be able to build a set of handheld pulse generators.
I told you it's not gonna work! I did a test. Hephaestus has written Alpha clearance out of its access module. You'll never be able to capture it. Then we need a higher level of clearance. There is no higher... Ted Pharaoh's mega clearance. The one he used to purge the Apollo database and kill the Alphas. But to get it, you would have to find Thebes. The private bunker he retreated to when the world ended, and nobody knows where that is, not even the Zeniths. Their only intel was that it was somewhere in San Francisco. That might be all I need. Alva, the Quen diviner I met, said her people had set up a base at Landfall. They were searching for data in San Francisco from there. She might be able to help. So I guess I'm headed all the way west. While I'm gone, will you be able to build the rig and the pulse generators? I'll try.
I'll make sure she has what she needs.
Alva said the Quen have a ferry on the coast that they use to get to the ruins of San Francisco. That's where I need to go. Hey, Gaia. I'm back.
So I see. Aloy, your mind. I have managed to unlock an additional room near the servers.
Understood. Have you been able to make...
Yes. I was able to mitigate most soil conditions and restore... You should notice less rampant plant growth in the air.
Maybe that'll give Plainsong's fields a chance to recover.
Unfortunately, recovery in that area is unlikely. I have discussed this matter with Zoe. I believe...
Yeah, I'm helping her out with that. There's something I'm still trying to figure. Demeter using flying machines to distribute metal flowers.
In its deranged state, Demeter was defending itself against a robotic swarm that would devour all plant life.
It thought the Pharaoh Plague was still happening?
It feared it would come again. As part of its directive of reseeding Earth's vegetation, it sought to protect plant life at all costs. And considering it had 20 years to proliferate, I expect you will continue to find the fruits of its efforts for some time.
That's a good thing I have the code to dissolve the vines, then. So Gemini has 2 data cores. I've never seen a cauldron like that. But you mentioned something about seismic activity?
When my predecessor attempted to build the cauldron, construction was disrupted by a series of earthquakes. The data core had already been built, but the rest of the facility sustained damage. So, she began again. A second core was built. However, when more tremblers occurred, she abandoned the site.
Lucky for us. Are the quakes still happening?
No, though they did also create instabilities in other facilities in the region.
So the facility where I recovered Demeter used to be a Pharaoh agricultural It's where they created the biomass conversion system, but also adamantine wreath. Did Elizabeth know they were working on that?
It is likely she was briefed on other efforts to combat the machine swarm, though her focus was devoted only to Zero Dawn.
That makes sense. But they actually, if they've been able to deploy it against the Pharaoh Plague and...
Using the data you recovered on the project, I ran several simulations and have concluded that it would never have worked. In all scenarios, the Pharaoh war machines would eventually hack and deactivate the wreath before they could contain the swarm.
So Zero Dawn really was the only solution. There was a lot of data in the greenhouse facility, but do you think it'll help the
I will run a quick complete. The data contains information about novel crop production methods, which may be beneficial to the tribe.
But new crops aren't going to save the world. So
It is.
Beta's convinced we won't be able to capture Hephaestus. With that attitude, do you really think she'll be able to build the rig and pulse generators?
It may take some coaxing, but with some assistance I am confident she will.
I don't get her, Gaia. She's so quick to assume we'll fail. She's nothing like what I thought she'd be. I guess it'll be best if she stays here when we go to Gemini. All this data I've picked up in ancient I guess I never really thought that other people would be looking at it.
Based on my observations, your Errand has asked on numerous occasions about birthday parties. He appears perplexed by the tradition of serving a sweet confection, as it conflicts with the Oseram tradition of serving sparkling stout ale. He also suggested we host a party for you, as a surprise.
Yeah, no thanks.
That is what I predicted.
Is Katalo getting a...
Yes, though he He appears to be collating data and significant battles to aid in the creation of a war map of Operation Enduring I believe he aims to study the tactics of old world warfare.
I'd be interested in seeing.
It appears to be. He has repeatedly declined my offers to assist.
So now that you have Ether, Demeter, and Poseidon, how's the biosphere?
In the local region, conditions have improved. Superstorms have subsided. Water sources have been purified, and soil conditions remediated. These improvements will stave off environmental collapse for a few additional months.
Well, with luck, soon you'll have Hephaestus. Then you'll be able to fix the biosphere for good, right?
Correct. I will be able to design and produce robotic agents to permanently reverse the environmental damage that has accumulated.
There's something I've been wondering. How could Ted Faro create a clearance level higher than Alpha? Elizabeth made sure he wouldn't interfere with the project.
It is plausible he tasked his own engineers with creating a back door to the Zero Dawn system, without Elizabeth's knowledge. My predecessor did not even know of its existence until he activated it to purge the Apollo database. It is, in effect, a blind spot. One that will allow us to subdue Hephaestus. And fortunately, thanks to Beta's information, we know where Omega clearance may be procured.
Right. Somewhere in San Francisco. So our plan to capture Hephaestus. Let's go over it again.
As you wish. We now know that Hephaestus will not respond to your Alpha clearance. Which is why you will need to procure Ted Faro's Omega clearance.
Right. From his personal bunker, Thebes.
While you are gone, I will assist Beta in building the transport rig and pulse generators. When we get to Gemini, I will need to be installed on one of the facility's cores. The second core is for Hephaestus. Using Omega clearance will allow you to trap it.
And then you'll be able to absorb it.
Not quite. You will need to manually remove Hephaestus's malicious code before the merge.
How long will that take?
There are calculations I still must run, but I estimate a few hours.
And during that time, the others will create a distraction for us using the pulse generators, right?
Correct. They will each take position at a cauldron door and fire off their device. The energy surge should mask our activities until the merge is complete.
And then we'll have everything we need to defeat the Zeniths. Sounds like a plan. See you later, Gaia.
Until next time, Aloy.
And dirt. Let's just say,
Turns out we need one last thing before we can...
because it would have been too easy.
Bet you're used to that focus by now.
Well, I can hit machines in their weak points. I wish all the other data was as... to be honest, it's hard to understand half of it. And then the other half reminds me, well, this isn't a fight, which is kind of what... But hey, that just means I gotta start...
Just give it time. You've been looking at any...
I asked Gaia to find me something to look at a while back, and she found they called it sports. Turns out the old ones spent a lot tackling and punching each other for points in one game or another. Are you mixing some solid food and fresh ale? I bet half the claim will be lining up to watch.
What else have you been studying?
Yeah, I've been looking into this Vegas. Gaia showed us everything that happened when you went to get that... I mean, this Moreland guy seems pretty smart. Though, risking the Tanakh clan lands for a light show is a...
Maybe I should check up on them. It's...
Right.
Anything happen?
Zoe asked us to help her bring... Not for eating, apparently. Yeah, if you ask me, place is fine as it... metal might be plain, but it's stirred. Nothing wrong with that. Who needs a...
How are things with Katala?
Oh, she think. Actually, I played strike. Had to fill in most of the conversation, but I'm still.
Glad to hear it. I need to get...
I think I know the answer. Gaia mentioned this other tribe you found, the Quen. They sound like a nasty bunch.
I can handle them. In the meantime...
Take care of yourself.
Aloy, you're...
Not yet.
After all the trouble you went through, seems
It's safe. They think I'm Sobek, or they won't hurt me, but...
If you say so.
You better not be...
And risk Zoe coming after me? In fact, how he destroyed the world and crawled into a hole after...
He definitely was a piece of... I hope Zoe's not upset. I'm distracted.
Yeah, I don't...
What do you mean?
Well, before Zoe found a way to fix I suggested that when Gaia was fully restored, she could just make...
Well, once we get Hephaestus, that stuff...
That's what I said. But I guess there was something about She got pretty raw. Said I didn't understand the way her tribe feels, which is true, of course, and the last thing I'd ever want to do is dismiss their tradition. But I was trying to look at things different, more like you know? To see a machine as just a machine.
Yeah, I guess I led you into trouble there, didn't I?
Not your fault.
Did you talk?
I suffered through a few hours of glaring silence. Then how do people do this? How do I know if the next thing I say won't blow up? What if an apology is not enough next time?
You give her a stuffed animal?
You're the worst. You know that?
What makes you think I know anything about any of this?
Abandoning me? Well, if she kills me next time, it's on...
Well, Beta and Gaia built the rig. Can you get everyone ready for the mission?
Of course.
What is it?
Nothing. It's just that... everything's about to change. We'll get Gaia, and she'll help us set things right. No more zeniths, no more derangement. It'll be a different world. I welcome it, but I wonder how the Nora will react. And the Karja, and well, everyone.
Let's just focus on fixing Gaia for now.
You're right. We've got an angry AI to take down.
If I get Omega clearance, and then we grab, we might finally have the advantage over the Z.
Can't wait to see their faces as they stare down a bunch of charts.
Better them than us, for once. I'll be...
We'll be ready.
Good.
Aloy, I hear you're going further.
Do you know anything?
Only hearsay. The Utaru tell stories of an island that lies beyond the western coast. They call it the Isle of Spires. It is said the Old Ones built towers there that touch the sky, so they could live far away from the earth that bore them. As if they didn't want to be reminded that they'd one day return.
Sounds like something Ted Faro would do. How much have you read on Ted Faro?
Enough to wonder how a man who worked so hard to heal the world could let greed and pride condemn. For one spirit to diminish in such a way. Or if I should hate him?
It looked like you were working on...
With Gaia now growing in strength, I've been trying to find a... Even if some people think I should give up.
Already said I was sorry.
Your friend thought it'd be a good idea to replace the land gods with new machines.
It wasn't.
Though they are not some broken toy to be thrown away. Even if they are just machines doing their job, to abandon them in their time of suffering seems cruel.
I'm sure Varl understands that too.
He does now. I had to get pretty mad at him at first, though.
You know I can hear you guys, right?
You ever play that board game, Aaron's?
Strike? I was hoping it'd distract him enough to spare us that... No such luck.
You and Varl doing okay? Training, I mean.
We're doing fine. Although I admit it'd be nice to take a small break, but then who'd look after Aaron?
There's always Katala.
Leave a loud Oseram with a brooding Tanakh. What could go wrong?
What's everyone been up to?
I've been trying to share some of my... Thought it might help her feel more at home. Maybe even get her to sleep up here instead of in that dark basement. She would not be...
I appreciate you trying.
Patience reaps the best harvest.
About the land gods.
We need to kill 2 Grimhorns and harvest their control. I sent their location.
Got it. What's everyone been up to?
I thought it might... Maybe she... Patience...
After that?
We'll be ready.
it's you. Hi. What do you want to know? What else can you tell me about Tilda? She liked to talk about her paintings. What about herself? Did she ever talk about her life on Earth, how she joined the Zeniths, something like that? She never said much about herself, and she hated it when I asked too many questions. But I think, back on Earth, she was an expert programmer, given that she built a data channel the other Zeniths couldn't detect. Is there anything else about her that we might be able to use to our advantage? She was the first real person who ever bothered to speak. You said Tilda showed you paintings and let you access media files? Every time we met, she showed me a new painting. I think she was Dutch. Oh. So do you have everything you need to build the rig and pulse generators? Gaia sent me the schematics. The designs are modest, without the capabilities of Hephaestus, but they should work. Not that it matters without a mega clearance. I'll find it. Just try to have the transport ready by the time I get back. So, aside from... Zoe told me how you met after your escape from the... I had no idea you were severely injured. If the Zeniths had killed you, life on Earth would be doomed. My escape would have been for nothing. But they didn't kill me. He told me about your tribe. I told him if I was born into the tribe, I'd never be able to do the proving. It does require a lot of physical training, but there are plenty of other roles besides being a hunter. I don't think I'd be suited for any of them. Well, I guess it's a good thing you're not a Nora, then. I'll be okay.
Run for the hills and never look back.
Strange.
Got a minute?
As many as you need.
I have to travel beyond...
To the ruins, shrouded in fog.
Yes. And I'm looking for a tribe. They said they came from across the... I was hoping that Tenakth knew...
There were rumors... Hikaru sent out a patrol or two, but... We've had more pressing concerns, as you know.
It's okay.
There is something... It's... personal.
Anything interesting?
I found an acceptable place to practice with my blade.
Oh. And where's that?
Outside. Above the base. There's a nest of sunwings that are all...
Ever thought of sparring with something that's not trying to kill you?
That would defeat the purpose of the training.
Found anything interesting?
Gaia told me where to find data on how wars were waged in the... I knew the 10 fought against machines, much as... But it seems they were among the last. Later, machines battled other machines on behalf of greedy... as they vied for lands and spoils. At least the Tenakth have the courage to put their lives on the line.
There is nobility in that. But maybe we just...
Yes, of course.
Anything else you've been looking...
Gaia showed me the... knowledge. I am no chaplain, but I'd be curious to test if something I read is true.
What is it?
The Old Ones believed one could hear the great waters, even in the middle of the desert, if you carried the carcass of a water animal with you. They called them seashells.
That sounds... kind of gross. What have you been up to?
Varl has asked to learn the differences between so I've been teaching him Tenakth history. It is heavy with blood and death, but also with honorable deeds. Maybe you'd like to hear about it as well.
I'd be honored. What do Tenakth, to take a...
We play strike. Although he has yet to beat me. It helps one think strategically. Hones the mind for tactics.
Somehow that still sounds like train. You said there was something...
I've been speaking. She mentioned that the Zeniths bind metal with flesh to make themselves stronger. I was wondering if you'd help me do the same.
You want to make yourself a new arm?
Yes. Gaia insists she can help me build such a thing if I can get the necessary data and materials. She believes these things lie in the place where Beta hid from the Zeniths.
Their ancient research lab.
I am not as familiar with old-world machinery as you are. I could use your assistance.
It might be dangerous. The Zenith... We were lucky to get out of there alive the first...
I see.
It sounds like this is worth the risk.
By the 10, we shall see it through.
I should get going. I've got a long road ahead.
Should you need reinforcement...
I know who to call. I'll call you when I'm near the Zenith lab. We'll get what you need for that new arm of yours.
Thank you, Aloy.
Aloy, it's a long way to the coast. If you need to resupply en route, I suggest stopping in Fall's Edge. It's a lowland clan village southwest of the Grove, in the heart of the jungle.
Got it. Thanks for the advice.